Hello, and welcome to episode 80 of Anime Territory. I'm your host this week, Benjamin Shapping, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Johnny the Whale Ruha.
Okay. That's me.
I just wrote that down, first word I saw. I'm like, that suits you, right?
No. Yes. It's a little mean. 80 episodes now.
Yeah, 80 episodes.
That means we've been doing this for like almost 2 years.
I guess, yeah. Well, no, because we do
it's been almost 4 years.
Yeah.
So I mean, we're right around 3. We started it in February, so
I don't know.
Things aren't matching up here. 26 plus 26, that's 52, plus another 26, that's 78. So February, yeah, we're a little over 3 years.
Okay.
God, I don't know what I expected from this.
Not 80 episodes. Today we'll be discussing the film Inu-Oh.
Inu-Oh?
Inu-Oh.
We apologize in advance to Masaaki Yuasa.
Inu-Oh.
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 Inu-Oh! Celio? Wait, no. Emilio. That's the actual reference. Emilio?
Is it?
And Celio is the Pokemon.
Okay, that's my reference to it. So, we just watched Inu-Oh.
Yeah, we had, we're like, man, we're running out of time. Let's do a movie episode again.
Yep.
Like, there's stuff we want to do tomorrow, and I'm busy Friday.
And we've got it.
And you're working Saturday, so now's the time to get it done.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we had like 6 movies that you pulled out that you're like, here's movies we haven't covered that we might have things to say about. And 3 of them I had already seen. Or 3 of them we had already seen.
Yes.
No. 2 of them we had already seen. 1 I had already seen. 3 that neither of us had seen.
Correct.
And this was the one that you chose after I said I don't want to do a movie I've already seen.
Yep. This is a Ben's choice.
Okay. Yeah, most of our episodes are Johnny's choice.
Yeah, for the most part.
I think you veto things every once in a while, but for the most part, I'm like, we should do this.
Yeah, I give suggestions sometimes.
Yeah. And then I have to host those episodes.
Yeah. That's just how the schedule works. I don't know what to tell you.
We don't have to stick to the schedule. In fact, we're not. We just did a thing where I did 2 in a row. Now you're doing 2 in a row.
Yeah, I just didn't want to fight you on it, so. So, first impressions.
I think I like this movie.
Okay.
I don't know if I get it, if that makes sense. I don't know what's to get about this movie.
You talking about in terms of the actual storytelling, or like or the meaning of it?
So, both? I don't know. I don't know if it's like a sins of the father affect the son, if it's a youth in revolt movie, if it's both, if it's just an excuse to have cool, like, rock / hair metal choreography performances in the middle of Japan.
Not just like, was it 1400s Japan?
Yeah, something 1300s, like that.
Something like that.
The 14th century, so it'd be 1300s.
Okay.
The shogun in this anime was an actual shogun. Like, they just used a historical figure for the shogun.
Well, it's based on a novel called Tales of the Heike?
Yeah.
Heike?
Yeah.
Heike?
Heike?
I don't know.
Anyway, we haven't read that novel. I have no idea. Was it about...
I think it's like almost like an epic based on like Japanese lore, actual battles and stuff.
You think the book is telling the stories, and this adaptation is like, hey, we're going to take these stories and have these two brand new characters, or do you think it had the deformed dancer and the blind musician?
From the little bit of what I read, I think it kind of basically has those characters, but it's different.
It's just centered around, hey, they're going to tell this story. They're more like a framing device to tell the stories.
Yeah. For what I could tell, the book is just like an account of like history. It's one of those things where it's like, this year this happened, and this so on and so forth.
Take all this with a grain of salt. We don't actually know. I'm just taking Ben's word for it.
And I'm taking Wikipedia's word that I read for like 2 seconds.
Yeah, you skimmed a Wikipedia article,
Yes.
and now you're putting it out there. Hey, this was based on a book of actual historical events.
Heike was compiled from a collection of oral stories recited by traveling monks who chanted to the accompaniment of the biwa, which is the instrument.
Yeah, the stringed instrument they play in this.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
and
again, I think like the characters are in the story, but if they're real or not, probably not. But
yeah, this is a historical reimagining.
Yes.
Very much what happened in this movie is not historical fact. But it's just sort of, I mean, I don't know. The story seems like a framing device for like 3 really big performances and then like 3 sort of side performances.
Yeah, I would say there's 3 main performances.
I mean, anytime when Inu-Oh is performing, those are the 3 main ones. But then when what is his change his name, Tomoichi or Tomona or Tomoari is performing, those are sort of big performances too, but they're way more grounded. They're like,
I kind of count his performances as part of.
Yeah, they blend. They really do blend because he's sort of like an opening act that
like
then
the
blends
opener.
into. He's just like, hey, come watch Inu-Oh tell this story.
Yeah,
I'm telling the story of Inu-Oh. You should listen to Inu-Oh tell these stories.
Yeah.
And like he's very, or both of them are very much just like, yeah, we're gonna take like Elvis and the Beatles and
all right,
Freddie Mercury maybe a little bit.
I watched that like Q&A with him.
Yeah,
he gave some of the inspirations.
Yeah, lay him on me.
Okay, so there's the Beatles, Queen.
Yep.
And then there's 2, I think, Japanese bands that I don't know, called The Timers and Deep Purple. And then like some of the choreography was inspired by like Michael Jackson and like ballet and stuff.
There's no Elvis. I really got an Elvis feel from...
He didn't say Elvis. I didn't catch it, at least.
Okay.
But he basically said he wanted to capture the rebellious spirit of classic rock.
Yeah,
which,
like, they did that. I mean, like, they're just like, this straight up being like, why is that guy's hair so long? It looks like a prostitute.
Why is he playing his siwa like that?
Biwa,
sorry.
Which, I mean, like, there is definitely a point in one of the performances where I'm like, are they just doing the Queen, like, stomp, stomp, clap? And not really. They're sort of doing stomp, stomp, little stomp, clap. It was a little...
Okay.
It wasn't quite boom, boom, ch. It was boom, 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 ch. It was more like that. I don't know.
Okay.
It was the whale performance kind of started like that. Which is very like the call and respond of that performance is very Queen.
Yeah. I get it. So, going back to first impressions.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it. It was an event. I think it would be really cool to see in a theater on a big screen.
Okay.
I just don't know, like, the actual, like, stories he told. I'm like, what is the deal with these stories? I don't quite understand. I think something's getting lost in translation.
Okay. I think my view is just like, who kind of cares about the story? Yeah,
that's kind of how I like settled into it eventually. I'm just like, I'm just here for the music and the spectacle, but
it's a performance. It's not necessarily a story. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, it's a performance of a story, but they're just like, the first one is like, they like held on to their boats and then their arms got cut off, but the cut off arms are still tied to the boats. And it's like, what?
Sounds
That's
awesome.
That's the whole story? Cool.
Then they planted a tree and all those arms grew or something?
Or the cavalry ran away, but no, they didn't. I lied. Like, I'm like, well, I don't know what's going on in this story. I'm just gonna enjoy the stage performance of this the production work they put into it. Which at one point you asked, how much prep work did they have for this? And I'm like, 5 minutes max.
How long did it take them to write this and choreography this?
5 minutes. It's an anime.
I think it's all improv.
Yeah, just willed
That like
into
third
existence.
performance, the second half of that performance, I'm pretty sure is improv.
Yeah,
Because they're like,
we need another story. It's not working. And it's like, let me dive into the past. I know my past.
What
Spirit,
about
show me Inu-Oh's past. Oh shit, this is what the performance is about. Let's summon a dragon. It's like, the first 2.5 of the big performances are very much like, okay, there's no way anybody was doing these acts, but like I could see how it might be physically possible. Like, okay, yeah, it's just rope work or it's just shadow work. But then the second half of the third performance is just
they
like,
started getting like, what do you call those? Stage lights almost?
yeah,
What do you call those? Like floodlights?
spotlights.
Spotlights, yeah.
Yeah, but it's like I could see, yeah, that would work. I don't know if people were doing that. I don't think people were doing that, but like, yeah, it's just about manipulating, lantern light, having like a more pointed light, and then having an image for that light instead of just like a circle sort of thing. So like I can see that is possible. There's no way people were doing that. And then just the last half of the last performance, just like, yeah, it's just like straight up magic happening right now.
Yeah.
Like, whatever.
There's some magic in this world.
Yeah.
There's spirits. I mean,
Yeah, there's spirits. There's
was that
curses.
technically the spirits? The dragon? It's like the spirits.
Yeah,
like,
I think that's
entering.
I think it was the spirits of the Heike, the
I forgot
Heike.
like finding peace and entering the next world or whatever.
Yeah, because it's like we're telling the final story. We're telling their story, why they've been sticking around. So,
But anyways, I think this movie kind of rules. Again, I don't really take the story that serious. I think it's kind of interesting. It's kind of cool, just because it's kind of like a war story. But like, I'm there for the performances. And
yeah,
the music.
I mean, and I'm
just like, this is cool. I like this.
And I like the framing device too. It's just the actual stories and the performances themselves I couldn't quite follow, and I don't know if it's just things getting lost in translation / they had to accommodate it into a song, which makes it like there are songs in English where I'm like, what is the story of this song? Because they have to.
A story in English?
What?
Oh, never mind.
Okay. There are songs in English, yes? You've heard of those?
Yeah.
Musical songs? And sometimes those songs tell a story, yes?
Yeah.
And sometimes those stories aren't clear because they made it into a song.
Okay.
Like, what is Octopus's Garden about? I don't fucking know. They're going to an octopus's garden?
Okay.
But, so, like, take that sentiment and then now it's in Japanese and they have to try to translate it culturally to English, and it just loses the meaning even more so. Okay. And that's fine. Just there for their performances.
Again, I don't really care. The music was awesome. I got the story for the most part. Except for maybe the whale. The whale was weird.
The guy was waiting for a whale and or 100 dolphins.
Or 1,000 dolphins at some point.
Yeah. Or he's going to wait
maybe
1,000
where
years.
the whale. I don't know.
Or the whale is the savior.
Lasin al-Gahib. Oh, I also forgot to mention, this is an eclipse movie.
Yeah, which we're really close in our part of the country for there's going to be a total eclipse of the sun visible in our town.
Mm-hmm. Or close to our town.
Close to our town. Which I am going to miss because it's in the middle of the day. So, like, I'm going to be working. I'll have my window open. I'll see it get dark, but I won't be able to just like go outside and look at the eclipse. So
I'm like off right as the eclipse starts, so like I could probably see it, but I won't like be able to go anywhere.
Make sure your lights are on when you're driving.
I'll be in the parking lot.
But yeah, it's just like, oh yeah, there's an eclipse in the middle of the last performance. That was cool. I really like the like when the Shogun's wife put up a fan and like watched the eclipse that way. It's like, she's smarter than our former president. She's not staring directly at the eclipse.
Bring 2 powers.
I don't think that's true. I think there was a lot of people who looked at the eclipse and didn't get powers.
Well, they didn't look at it long enough. You gotta look at it for the whole time.
All right, you do that. Come back with powers.
Okay.
When is that eclipse again? April?
It's Monday.
Next Monday? Okay,
Yeah.
so that would be the 8th.
I think it's the 8th.
Yeah.
So, what do you rate this movie?
8.
Same.
I don't know if I can give it a 9.
No, I think 8's right where it needs to be. Again, there is some story stuff that doesn't make sense, but it doesn't really matter. But also, it does kind of... When there's no performances, it gets a little dull. You're like, alright, can we get back to the singing part?
I like the very end after the last performance when it's just
That's
like...
true.
He's like, yeah, no, man, youth in revolt. You'll have to behead me while I'm performing.
That was cool. Well, they like chopped his arms off first.
Yeah. I will say that I guess that was spoilers. We're in spoilers. Whatever.
Yeah, first impressions. We're on spoilers now. Time to talk plot.
Just revealed that one of the characters got beheaded at the end.
Oh shit! Yeah, you're right. Oh. We said that after impressions were good.
Yeah, we're good. We gave it our rating. I felt Masaaki Yuasa will have like a very distinctive style, and I definitely felt that style, but I feel like it was just sort of subpar as far as his style goes. The performances are probably the best part of his style, but I don't know.
Okay.
I just never had the scene like the one ping pong match in Ping Pong the Animation that was like a thunderstorm.
Okay.
I never
see. I think that's the opening sequence. I think that is the scene.
Yeah. Well, I was a little distracted in the opening sequence because we had first of all, the subtitles weren't on, and then we had to restart it with the subtitles on. And then it was like descriptive audio subtitles, so it was like man panting, and I'm like, damn it, I'm trying to pay attention. Now I'm distracted by the descriptive subtitles. So I don't know. I would probably need to rewatch the opening sequence because I liked it, and at the end you were like, that was awesome. I'm like, I didn't get that feeling, but I might have just been distracted. So, I might have to rewatch the opening.
Okay.
Pay more attention to it.
Oh. So from what I've seen from Masaaki Yuasa, I don't know. He doesn't have like a clear cut, like this is my style. I think he can change his...
I think his style has evolved over time. Yeah. But, I watched
Cause, like,
Ping Pong the Animation. I watched Devilman Crybaby, which you haven't seen yet. No. And I watch like Tatami Time Machine. Not Tatami Time Machine.
Because like all the character
Tatami Galaxy
designs remind me of more like Ping Pong, but it doesn't have that like...
It's not. It's definitely like CGI animated, which it's very well CGI animated, but it's not. It doesn't have that hand feel that Ping Pong does. And I want to say Devilman Crybaby is probably also CGI animated, but it might be more in between. It doesn't feel as gritty, as I guess what I'm going for. And like sometimes Masaaki Yuasa is just like, sometimes things are really ugly, but also then the next moment really beautiful. Okay. And that's sort of that contrast there.
Do you think
what
that
I really like? Now I haven't
maybe where
seen...
that comes into play is that because the movie's more about the music and the like performance, like the movement and the dancing that the animation, you're not so much focused on it, or they're not like, it doesn't pop out because that's not what they're focusing on?
Yeah, possibly. Now I'm sort of thinking of some of the dance moves, and it's like those are very reminiscent of Masaaki Yuasa's style, but it just felt like, I don't know, too clean.
Too clean. Okay. Okay.
That's my impression there. Is
okay.
But that might just be the moving to the more CGI style animation too. So,
all right. So I will say the animation doesn't stick out as your other Yuasa films. But again,
we should watch Devil May Cry Baby this October for Halloween.
Okay. You want to make that our?
Yeah, I say so.
Cool. Write it on the calendar.
I'm not going to do that.
Okay.
I'll put it in my phone calendar. I'm not going to write it. I'll type it.
Okay. Whatever calendar you have, put it in. I don't
All
care
right.
where it's at.
You want to talk about your favorite performance? I mean, like, I can tell the story of this anime is a dancer wants to become /singer /storyteller wants to become famous, and his family is already sort of like a famous school, but he himself is like lacking there. So he makes a deal with this weird spirit mask. It's like, hey,
okay, sorry, go ahead.
I want to become famous. The spirit mask is like, and now some of this is revealed
Later.
I'm kind of going chronological order instead of revealed order. Spirit mask is like, all right, you want to be famous? Then I need you. I can give you new stories to tell. You can open your soda. It's fine.
Should have done that before you started.
Yeah. You really should have.
Go ahead.
I can give you new stories to tell, but there's these monks that also have the stories. So go and kill them for me, and that will be like your payment. And the guy's like, okay, I went and killed all these monks. It's not enough. I need to be better. The spirit's like, okay, well, I can make you shine so bright. Give me your unborn child. And he's like,
What,
you
give
got
me
it.
the innocence and purity of your unborn child or something like that.
And then that is the predecessor to our opening scene where we see this man performing, and then his wife gives birth to like a deformed
monster, basically.
Yeah. His eyes are in the wrong place. He's got a weird mouth. He's got scales on his back. He's got nubs for legs. He's got one arm that is super long, and
that arm is awesome.
One arm that is
sad
just
when that arm went away.
Yeah. One arm that is just like attached to his head.
Yeah.
Or I guess it's just more like a hand there.
I think his mouth is on where his ears should be. Something like that.
Well, it's like he's got like a big mouth that's like I'm making a gesture to Ben that you guys can't see. It's
I think his
crocodile
mouth is here,
mouth.
and then his eyes are here.
Yeah. Well, I think his mouth is not on the side of his face. I think his mouth, we just see the side of his mouth. I think he's got like a big crocodile jaw type thing.
Okay.
At least that's the impression. We never actually see his scary face. No, Ben, don't do it.
Sorry.
Don't make a reference to those old College Humor videos about Batman.
I think so.
But yeah, so it's like, okay, there's this little deformed kid running around now, on all fours and being treated like an animal by his.
Inu-Oh means like dog king.
Yes,
which is cool.
Which is, he doesn't have a name. He doesn't. He's not given a name by his parents. He gives himself a name later on in the movie. Meanwhile, we also see a young boy whose family dives for treasure, shipwreck treasure. They get hired to go try to find a sacred treasure to help prove somebody is the emperor.
Yeah. So the emperor wants to show that he's the emperor.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, somebody saw in a dream it was in this shipwreck, and they go and get it, and they pull out this sword, and it like emits like
beam or something?
Laser beam sort of thing. Cuts his father in half, blinds him.
Yes.
And then he's just wandering around blind. His mom's like, "Oh, pity me. My husband's dead and my son is blind. Why does all the bad things happen to me?" It's like, well, you're not hurt, lady.
Well, she lost her wife. She lost
her husband.
Her husband.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But it's like, I just got the feeling that she's just like, my son is as good as dead to me because he's blind. Okay. So he's a traveling blind boy now.
I think he's supposed to like...
The spirit of his father wants him to go and find out what was going on with that treasure, or avenge his death or something. He goes and he meets a blind biwa player, and it's like, "Oh, you're blind too." And the blind biwa player is like, "Oh, you can read." You know, when he felt the name tag. Do you want to learn to play the biwa and be a monk? He's like, "Sure."
Sure.
He becomes a really good biwa player. He meets Inu-Oh, and Inu-Oh's like, "I'll scare you by taking off my mask." And he's like, "Okay." Like, "Is your mask off yet?" "I'm blind. I can't see." He's like, "Oh, okay."
"You want to become best friends?"
"Sure. What's your name?" "I'm going to be the Dog King or something." I don't know if he actually says his name, but he's like, "I've decided on a name, even though I wasn't given one." Then I guess years pass because they seem older. I should note, Inu-Oh, he's grown legs after like learning how to dance. So he's like running around town. That's when he meets him, and then they're like, "Okay, we're gonna set up this elaborate performance. I'm gonna draw people in, and you're gonna perform under the bridge and do the first performance."
Well, they find out like the spirits of these Hiwei soldiers are like attracted.
Oh yeah,
to
that's right.
Inu-Oh. That's where they like start the stories, I think.
Yeah, because I wrote down his name. He changes his name so many times. Tomina or Tomoichi since he can see the spirit of his dead dad, and he's like, "Oh, your condition. It sounds like a curse, from evil spirits or something. Like, are evil spirits real?" He's like, "Maybe." "Wait a minute. Yeah, I can talk to a spirit. Dad, it's me. I know I changed my name to Tomoichi, and you can't. It's harder for you to find me since I changed my name, but it's me, Tomina." Dad shows up, and he's got a squeaky voice because he's little, and he's like, "Your mom's dead, and she moved on from this world, and I'm probably gonna move on from this world soon too, given the state of me. Anyway, yeah, there's spirits around here. There's a bunch of, Heiki spirits running around." And they're like, "Oh shit, yeah, I can see them. There they are.
Yeah.
I can hear them.
Mm-hmm.
They're telling me all these stories."
Uh-huh.
So, Tomoichi, who then, like, changes his name to Tomoari, which means, like, we're here together, something is how it translates.
Come together.
Right now. He gives a performance. It's like, "Hey, you gotta check this dude out. He's gonna tell news stories under the bridge. And I'm dancing like Elvis and thrusting my pelvis and showing my underwear off.
Yeah.
And I'm blind."
Just like Elvis.
Just like Elvis. Doing weird dance moves and stuff.
I like the drum guy. I like how low he is.
Yeah. There's a guy in the band who just breathes fire. To like punctuate certain areas. So a crowd draws, and we get our first performance where he talks about cutting off the arms getting cut off in the boat. And,
I call it the persimmon tree performance.
Yeah, they're like, "Look at this persimmon tree. Look at this persimmon tree." That's not what it's like. Please don't take that. Is what it's like.
But yeah, it's a huge hit. They become famous.
Yeah.
Or basically become famous.
They're like, "Hey, they do another show. This time's at night, and it's about the whale and the dolphins." And they do like cool shadow play. I should say, the end of the persimmon performance, his long arm and his short arm then turn it back into normal arms.
Yes.
So he almost looks normal at this point.
Almost.
The end of the night performance, like his shirt rips off and his scaled back turns into normal. So now the only thing wrong with him
is his hideous face.
Is his face. and they're like, Tomoari's like, hey, I'm going to take your songs all throughout the country. I'm going to spread it out. The Biwa priest group that he's in, the head priest, is like, yeah, I like this guy. Let's see how far he goes with this. This is interesting.
He's going to go far, kid.
But then he meets with the Shogun, and the Shogun's like, "No, we can't be having this. It's not a time for a new wave of ideas. I've almost united East and West. So, we're just going to spread the official stories. But also, I'm going to invite him to perform.
Because my wife really loves him.
My wife really loves him. But they go to Inu-Oh's dad, who's like, I would love to perform. He's like, oh, no, we want Inu-Oh to perform. He's like, fuck my son. I'm supposed to be the famous one. I'm the one that made the deal.
But then they're like, well, I mean, supposedly he has a hideous face, so, like, if he reveals himself, we might have to behead him.
Yeah.
And the dad's like, yes.
Yeah,
So
it's all a ploy to get him to reveal his ugly face to the shogunate's wife, which would then be a crime worthy of, like, beheading him and then putting down this movement or whatever. They go to the performance. They're like, yeah, this is definitely a trap, but I mean, we got to do it. The show must go on.
Yeah.
They give a pretty good performance. They're like, this isn't quite it. We need to dig deeper. They go to the spirit realm.
The spirit realm.
The spirits are like, hey, look at this past. Look at this past. It's like, I've seen this past. Show me Inu-Oh's past. And that's when we get the story about, like, oh yeah, those murders you heard about, that was Inu-Oh's dad. And, the reason he's deformed, that was Inu-Oh's dad giving the spirit his, son's
it's a bad dad
innocence. Meanwhile, the dad is watching and it's like, I need you to kill him. He's dimming my
goes
star.
Back to, like, the masked demon.
The masked demon's like, you already gave him to me. You want me to kill that which you gave to me?
Yes.
You're breaking your promise. I'm going to kill you instead. And he explodes into blood.
Yeah, it was really gruesome.
Which is like, is this a horror movie?
Maybe.
Sort of?
It's like, just don't fuck with masks, I guess.
Yeah. There's definitely some creepy stuff in this, which is very Masaaki Yuasa. So I'm here for that.
I like that when he, like, gets the mask, the box it's in just has, like,
blood prints on it. Blood handprints, I should say. Bloody handprints, yeah.
I'm just like, that's an awesome box. Definitely want to open that.
And then they give the performance, the dragon spirits, as he reveals his face, it's no longer deformed. Still ugly.
Yeah, it looks like Richard T. Joker.
But you can't just say Richard T. Joker. All right? We're not on blank check.
Okay.
The audience doesn't get all of our blank check
like the
references.
Joker.
There you go. Which I guess was sort of like a hair metal thing that they were going for, like, Kiss makeup or something like that.
I don't know.
But also, like, Japanese people wore, like, weird makeup like that. Performers did. So it's sort of I think supposed to be both.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, it was great. We need you to. You're a great performance, Inu-Oh, but you're gonna stick to these songs. Otherwise, I'll behead Tamari.
He's like, fine.
He's seething with anger, but he's like, yep,
sure,
yep. Don't kill Tamari. Look at me, I'm chipper. I'll do what you want me to. And then, meanwhile, Tamari is being, like, chased down. And they're like, say you're Tomoichi. Say you are not Tamari anymore. You can be spared. Like, ears are getting cut off from the band members and stuff, and he's just like, no, I'm Tomoari. Fuck you. He goes into hiding for a while, but he, like, keeps, like, singing the songs, performing, and he gets his arms and head chopped off at the end of the performance, and it's like, that's cool. And then 600 years later, his spirit is still performing, and Inu-Oh finds him, and they're like, hey, let's perform again.
Yeah.
Go back to deformed me with my legs, just my new leg, like how we met. Yeah. So, and that's the story. That's it. Yeah. What's your favorite performance?
I think mine is the Persimetry. I like the first one.
Okay, I think I like the second one, the whale one, the best. I don't know why, but I think I like that one the best. I think that one would be the most fun to be at in person.
That one's the most... Well, I guess the third one's the most performative based.
Yeah.
The second one's kind of the coolest, though, with the lights they use.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's what I want to be at the most.
Yeah.
I mean, like, okay, there's not, like, literal magic here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, other than his back transforming. And possibly some, like, feats that could be
the water
humanly
effect
possible.
that they do.
Yeah.
They're just, like, dumping water.
Mm-hmm.
Make it look like he's swimming. Or, like, the whales in the water. But
Yeah. But I think that's the one I'd like to be at the most, is the second one. I'd be like, that's cool as hell.
I just think that first song's dope. I'm just like, hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that one's cool. I like the hand stuff that they do with it.
Cool.
I mean,
that's technically the only performance where he has dope hand.
The dope arm, the big long arm,
mm-hmm.
which is like 20 feet tall.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. But no, I would go with the second one. I think that's my favorite. But they're all good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Do we have anything else to say about this movie? It's hard to talk about because we're not music experts.
Yeah.
I can't be like, oh, this is in this style of song.
Or an homage to this, where it's in the B flat. It's just more like, no, it's cool. I like the beats.
I like the music. I like the beeps and the boops. Definitely worth a watch if you get a chance. And
yeah.
You own the movie. Is it streaming anywhere? Do you know?
I have no idea.
I'll do a quick Google search here.
Okay.
Let's see. Draw my pattern. Inu-Oh streaming.
If I were to guess.
It's on Hulu.
It's on Hulu. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Which means it's on Disney Plus, probably. Because Disney Plus has Hulu, for the most part. At least in America. It's on Hulu. It did say premium subscription, so it might be you need like stars or something instead, but I don't know. You can find it. You can rent it, too. So that's good. Is it Masaaki Yuasa's latest film? It's from 2021.
Yeah, I don't think he's done anything since.
When was Japan Sinks?
2020.
Okay. Now I'm Googling Masaaki Yuasa. This is what the podcast is becoming. Johnny Googles things.
Now time for a segment of the show called Johnny Googles Things. And me, I can't find my stupid cursor.
That's why I use my phone. Works. Yep, Inu-Oh is the most recent one. Japan Sinks is 2020. Because it's literally called Japan Sinks, 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Yeah, there's lots of things of his we haven't seen.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, Kick Heart was him? I should watch Kick Heart. I've seen good things at Kick Heart. It's like a short, and I think it's about like a luchador wrestler.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a Japanese anime short film that uses surreal animation storytelling to tell a love story between a professional wrestler and a nun.
So it's Nacho Libre?
Yeah, I guess. But it was possibly kickstarted.
It was. It says right here.
So Kick Heart was kickstarted. They kickstarted Kick Heart.
Cool.
Kickstart my Kick Heart.
Mm-hmm.
We covered Ride Your Wave on this show. I should really watch Keep Your Hands Off Isaacin.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard good things. I think friend of the show Pants said good things about that. I've heard good things about Kaiba. And yeah, we're gonna have to cover Devilman Crybaby this October.
Gotcha.
It's time for me to rewatch that. It's time for me to go through that again.
Okay. But yeah, we don't really have dib counts or anything. So.
Yeah, nobody didn't call dibs on anybody. There was like one prominent female character,
I guess,
and that's the Shogun's wife.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you have
that performer he really likes.
What?
The Shogun.
Yeah, I'm not for sure if that was a woman.
Oh shit!
I'm not 100% for sure, but
that person just didn't look of age.
No.
I'm like, not touching that one.
There's Tomona's wife. There's Inu-Oh's mom we see briefly. We see her give birth.
God, that was disgusting.
Yeah, because Inu-Oh was disgusting.
Okay. Anyways.
Just in the middle of that opening performance there.
Mm-hmm.
So. Alright. Yeah, I think we can call an end here. You're hosting, though, so you have to do it.
So, thank you for listening. Be sure to check this out, the movie. Follow us on Twitter at anime_territory. And anywhere you get your podcasts. And YouTube. We're on YouTube.
Yep. And you are now leaving the anime territory.
Goodbye.